tiger's eye. Mojo bag. Welcome. Welcome to the CaliGriot Insomniac Show. Where we're going to talk about breastfeeding as long as I can before my phone shuts off. I have a Samsung with a little storage. And this is Anu, who makes my beats. Anu Clear. Alrighty. Well, first of all, I want to tell you about the history of breastfeeding in the United States. During slavery, we breastfed up to 7 children. We breastfed our own and the mistress's children. You're able to produce milk by drinking water. Yeah, you don't have to do a big dietary change. You're already probably taking vitamins, right? So what produces milk are liquids. The more liquid you drink, the more milk is produced. If you have somewhere special you want to go, you cut back on your liquids a day or two before you go. That way your shirt's not all leaky and all that kind of stuff. Because the milk will release, especially if you hear a baby cry. If you hear a baby cry, someone else's baby, your milk will come out. So that's because, like I said, tribally, we were, the young women would go out and gather berries and nuts and whatnot. And the older women would take the babies and breastfeed. So once you start breastfeeding, as long as you don't stop, you will continuously have milk. It's the same part of the system that makes a woman wet. Yeah, it's the same thing. When there's stimulus, it becomes wet. When you stimulate the nipple, it expresses milk. It becomes wet. It's the same exact thing. So that's why if you stop nursing, maybe you got that shot and it dried your milk up, well, have your husband stay on it a little bit, the baby stay on it a little bit, and before you know it, it's back running again. Yeah. Drink your water. Keep your water up. And stimulate. Stimulate. You can stimulate your own nipple. I was going to get a piece of fruit or something so I could actually show you. Okay? So let's say this is the nipple, right? When you're breastfeeding, you need to make it get stiff. You can use ice. Ice helps. You know, if you get cold, it'll produce a stiff nipple. That helps the baby latch on. Okay? And so, the history, that's what I want to tell you about. Okay? I don't have this written down, you guys. And I'm kind of rushing. If it clicks off, I'll restart the video and try to finish, alright? So, the way that the women would stop it from hurting her and wouldn't hurt so bad, because the jaw, when it bites in one spot. If the baby's opening and closing its mouth, right? This is a jaw. Opening and closing, and if you keep that baby in one spot, that will tear up your nipple. Even if it's not teeth, it's just gums. So, if you're holding your baby this way, take the baby and hold the baby with the head this way on the same nipple with the feet going out. And now you've changed the spot on your nipple that the baby is biting on. When you lay down, you put the baby on you this way, and now the bite is on the top of your nipple. So you take the baby and literally go clockwise around your nipple in different spots. That way you don't wear one spot out. You nurse for a full 5 minutes on one breast, and as you're nursing, the other breast is going to leak milk out. Get yourself one of those nurser inserts for those bottles, and I used to just tape it onto my nipple that the baby wasn't using, and all this milk just pours out into the extra bag. Switch breasts, switch the bag over, and repeat. Start with the baby here, right? Holding the baby this way. Rotate the baby around with the legs going out this way. Now the bite is in another spot. Lay back. The baby will stay with you, trust me. You won't be able to get that baby off you. Lay back, and then the bite is in another spot. Continue to rotate around the nipple, and you'll be all good. Don't put any salve or anything like that on yourself. You want to toughen your nipples, not soften them. So don't do that. Okay, so back to slavery, right? Well, the women that were rich had those super fancy dresses, and there's no way they were going to get milk all over it. You will have plenty of milk. Plenty. The more stimuli, the more milk, right? That's just how it goes. That's what makes the milk. The reason you nurse for 5 minutes, the fat is in your back, all the way back here. That's where the cream is at, back here. So it has to go all the way around to get the part that makes the baby gain weight. So you start at the beginning. The beginning is mostly water and colostrum, okay? So make sure you nurse the full 5 minutes to get the milk to come from your back all the way around. You do the same thing on the other side, equal sides. Remember to balance. Balance. You don't spend so much time in one spot. Alternate spots. Change breasts, 5 minutes on each side. Alright? After the women got out of slavery, of course, they had maids and things like that, and they actually hired wet nurses. And I predict right now there's probably jobs out there for women that have babies and can actually nurse another baby or two. Literally. I breastfed my own daughter, and my neighbor had a set of twins, and on her 6 weeks, she brought her twins over. I breastfed all of them for the night, and everybody was happy. She came back home, her and her husband, to pick up their twins, and the twins were knocked out. I had them, you know, on both sides. I was happy, they were happy. We were just kicking it, you know. Yeah. Also, there's a chemical that's released in your brain that helps you go to sleep and stops you from being so nervous and irritable. See, in that formula, nothing in it does anything for the mother. But breastfeeding puts you to sleep. So take your nap at the same time the baby goes to sleep, and you'll have better rest. All right? What else? Breast milk is good for eye infections, ear infections. If you just drop some in the eye from the breast, squeeze it out. And when you squeeze your milk, when you express, you start at the fat part of the breast and just pull and squeeze like this. Just like that, very gently. and your milk will come out. All right? You don't need that much. You might only get a half an ounce per sitting. Put it in the refrigerator. Cool it. Then you can add more milk on top of your milk till you get at least 2 ounces. When you get 2 ounces, you can mix it with distilled water. Yes, you can stretch your milk. There's plenty of good stuff in mother's milk. They haven't even identified everything in it. So there's no way they can make it. And can you imagine having that, like having creamer? Chemicals? Like I drink coffee all the time. Where's my coffee? You know, I drink coffee all the time. And in my coffee, I have creamer. And that creamer is a powdered chemical, you know? You want to give powdered chemicals to your kids at the very beginning? Okay? Your immune system helps their immune system. If you have any questions, get a hold of me. DM me at sweetbutter17. During World War II, they needed the women to make the missiles and the boats and the planes. And Rosie the Riveter, remember her? She came to save the day. Well, that's when they convinced the women that daycares and infant care would be fine. Okay, they got us out of the house. Women stayed home until then. And they definitely couldn't be away from their babies. So they invented the bottle and the formula. When the men came back from the war, oh, they needed their jobs back. So then they guilt-tripped the women and said, you'll have juvenile delinquents on the street. And they showed them smoking cigarettes and doing all manner of things. And psychobabbled the women back into the house until it got to the point economically it took 2 in the household to make a household work. Then women in the 60s and 70s were put back out into the workforce. Now our children are pretty much just like orphans to the slave wage system. Because we work so much, we can't stay home and teach, rest, relax, bond with our children. So what I want you to do is bond. Think about the bonding. All right? I'm going to talk to you some more about this, but I'm about the end of my little music and at the end of the video that I can continue to hold on my phone, all right? I'll come back and talk to you some more. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. You can breastfeed toddlers, multiple babies, twins. If you have inverted nipples, let me teach you. All right? Don't be afraid. You have everything you need. Yeah, you're equipped. Just like you carried that baby, you can feed that baby until they're 5 years old. Yes, 5 years old. In countries where there's no food, the mother drinks water, breastfeeds, and keeps the baby alive at least until 5. And they're developed that they can eat well, whatever food's available. All right? Okay, so I covered slavery and wet nursing, multiple babies, what to do when you have on fancy clothes and you want to go somewhere. And don't buy those nursing bras. Just lift your bra and go under your bra. Don't even bother with that stuff. It's a waste of money. You'll be saving so much money. So much money. It's unreal. I think what's that stuff's $30, $40 a container, and you have an unlimited supply free. It's the CaliGriot, your Yaya, your Big Mama, your Mama K. I hope you learned something, and don't be afraid. It'll be okay.